Okay, y'all, we're out here in my compost area. This is where I put things I want to decay, basically rot, and turn into nice compost to be used on my garden beds. And what you see before you is some kitchen scraps. What we have here is a mix of coffee grounds, filters, green beans that were not suitable for eating, bad onion, some green onion tops that we trimmed. And the point of this is I'm going to show you the power of worms. And what I'm going to do today, and this is July 19th, is I'm going to go ahead and cover this up, and we're going to take a look at it every week. And we're going to see just how fast it takes my worms to eat this up and turn into worm castings. Now, I do lazy man composting. I don't make bins. I don't sit here and turn it. I depend on the worms. So I'm going to cover this up, then I'll come back. So now I took a regular yard rake and I piled up on top of that kitchen scraps that I was showing you earlier with some brown carbon matter. And I'll wet this in really good before I leave. And what will start to happen is the worms will come up from the soil and they will start dining on those kitchen scraps. And we'll come back and look at it a week from now and show you the progress. Okay, like I said, I've covered this with brown matter, mostly partially decayed leaves, grass clippings, and pine needles. Then I went ahead and wet it in real thoroughly. Now what I use when I wet it in, let me show you. I use standard garden hose head, nozzle head, and I set it on jet. And then I cut through that pile. And you can see the little lines it makes. Then I come back and I crisscross until I've covered the whole pile. And it's set on jet. Now why do I do that? I do that for two reasons. It drives the moisture deep into the pile. That's what you need. And second of all, it does aerate the pile to some extent. Now you don't want to waterlog your pile regardless of what setting on your garden hose you use, where it'll just get all stinky, nasty, and slimy. The next step to getting the worms to start their business is to cover it with a tarp. Okay. We watered it in well, and now we've got it covered with this here dark green tarp. I prefer black, but I don't have one. And this one will do just fine. It's been working fine for years. Now why do you want to cover it with a tarp? Number one, you want to conserve the moisture in the pile. This is the deep south, kids. Right now it's 95. It's 11 a.m. this pile will dry out quick. Second of all, you want to keep it dark, because with darkness and moisture, your natural earthworms, red wigglers, will come up from the soil deep below, and they'll start feasting on those kitchen scraps. And that's what we'll be taking a look at over the next coming weeks. We will uncover this next Saturday, because this is July 19th, Saturday, and we'll take a look at how well they've been doing. I think you might be surprised. Now, this is a lazy man's way of worm composting. I've never built a bin. I have built wire bins like this one here. This just sort of contains things, but for the most part, and I'm going to get over here in the shade because this here sunlight's deadly. For the most part, I'm lazy. And can you imagine composting everything that you have when you're raising livestock, doing market gardening and farming? My compost piles back then were sometimes 15, 20 feet high, and multiple ones each year. And we'd wet them down. Of course, a lot of times it wasn't necessary because there was a lot of overripe or bad produce in them. And then we'd cover them. And occasionally we'd have to uncover them to add more. I didn't have the time to be turning compost piles, doing all that. And years ago, many years, I did take my fishing worms, which are red wigglers, and you can get earthworms, giant ones. And if I had any left at the end of the day fishing, I'd dump them out on one of my compost piles. Well, after a while, a year or two, the worm population in those piles got extremely healthy. I didn't have to buy worms no more. And in all honesty, I haven't bought worms here in the last 15 years or so. So we'll come back and take a look at this in a week. And as you can see from all the sweat on me, just a little bit of gathering, picking, watering, and raking has got me soaked in sweat. Hence why we tarped the pile. So until I see you next week, folks, y'all take care, stay safe, and God bless each and every one of you. Goodbye for now.